What's up, guys? We're actually going to talk a little bit about the Disc Priest. My first iteration going through it during the live stream. I enjoyed myself. I had a lot of really good times with it. You still got Power Word Barrier. You've got Rapture, which has been changed. Basically, it allows you to spam your bubbles if need be. You cannot overlap them, so no need to waste them on a tank that way. There's a lot of really fun opportunity with this thing, and I see it being fairly useful for padding damage in a raid environment. But currently, guys, in my original that I did on the live stream, it was playing really nice. It was fun. It was enjoyable. But they've done tuning since then. And in the tuning, they basically reduced the damage on just about everything. The damage is so low now, it is almost impossible to keep anybody up. Like, it'll scale nice, I understand this, with the artifact weapon, and it's working really well. But it almost seems like they want you to spec back into doing more of the single target healing. Like, they put this, they did set it up, guys, to where you can use penance through talents, obviously, but they set it up to where your single target heals will do an increased amount of healing now, if you're actually wanting to go more of a heal-based route instead of the damage and heal-based. But that kind of takes away from the gameplay that they were trying to get into. Now, with this gameplay that they're working with, it's still fun, it's still enjoyable, but unfortunately, the thing that I don't really care about on this is the fact that, well, they set it up this first way, and they really were pushing doing the damage and everything, but I guess they figured you were doing too much of the group's damage. And honestly, once you end up getting Atonement up, guys, and you start blasting, it's a lot of raid healing. They probably are setting it up more for late game. But currently in a 5-man, if you're running a 5-man, you're fucking worthless unless you spec single target. And I didn't want to go that route, so I stuck it out the hard way. And man, was it the hard way. Basic way of gameplay, guys, to keep Atonement up on the tank, you're basically going to keep your shield up on the live tank. The shielding has been reduced yet again, which I can see why. I mean, shields are overpowered. It's basically, there's no chance of overhealing if you end up using it. The damage output is... I'm really disappointed, guys, because once your tank starts going down, you can throw the shield up and kind of keep it there, but it seems like no matter how much damage you end up putting out, you cannot boost them back up. There doesn't seem to be a way to actually boost the tank back up with health, unless you end up using your Shadow Mand or whatever the hell that spell is called, and then they're going to just take that damage back over time anyways. Really, I didn't care for the gameplay the second time around. The first time around, I loved it. Second time around, though, guys, it really seemed weak. And the reason why I say in a raid environment this will do alright is because, well, you're going to have more people to put Atonement on. The more Atonement that goes out, the more healing you're going to do. There's a lot more damage going on in the raids that I've tested. And the other thing that you're looking at with all this is, well, hey, you're smoothing out the damage on whatever target you're attacking. So wherever your tanks are doing their tank swaps, Il'gynneth, it's going to be the larger add. If you're ending up attacking that thing, basically every hit that you do, the damage that you do also puts a buffer on them, I guess you could say, that reduces the attack, the damage of their next attack by however much that smite was. And if you smite twice without them attacking, it's going to stack up and stack up and stack up. So you can really, if with a lot of haste, really smooth out the damage on your tanks, guys. So they do still have a kind of a niche on smoothing out damage. A really neat idea, but without being able to get any healing up. I mean, in a raid it looks fine. It looks like it'll be really nice to smooth that damage out. But in a 5-man, where we're fucking working right now, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. They need to do something without having you need to change your complete total gameplay of, okay, we're going to use Talented, so we use Penance and our other heals on the tank only, and that's it. I mean, it's really a rough situation, guys. I can't see to where this is going to do good in any challenge mode situation whatsoever, except for possibly killing it faster, and your team is fucking baller at dodging everything, because AoE healing, it sucked, because there just wasn't enough, guys. There just was not enough healing, and maybe it's because of the level differences, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's because I don't have any artifact power, not 100% sure, but I do know the first time I went through and played this, it played very smoothly. It was still a challenge trying to keep atonement up and, you know, keeping your bubbles up and trying to do the healing. It was still challenging that way because of all the stuff you got to watch. But now you got to watch and you got to try and DPS twice as fast. And I mean, haste is probably going to be an ungodly godsend for you. Mastery is probably going to be alright also, since it now, I believe it increases the amount of healing through atonement. Crit, I mean, all of these are probably going to mix perfectly fine, guys, just because if you crit, that damage is still being done through the atonement. So I don't see any one, I'm sure someone's going to number crunch it and find out which is best, but I don't see any one stat that's better than the other. All of these are actually working out very well, and the gameplay, again, once they get the tuning done, we are still in alpha, guys, we are still doing testing, but this tuning overlap makes it to where, okay, this thing's doing great, and then all of a sudden, this thing is doing shit, and when I say shit, I mean I can barely heal. I was having trouble in level 100 5-mans. Most of these, on any other healer, I would snore through and just take a goddamn nap, because they're that easy. But on the disciplined priest, it's like, oh my god, someone pulled a stick out of my ass and beat me to death with it, because that's how I felt. I felt really trapped, I felt really confined, and I felt really abused, because I went into this thing thinking it was going to be like the first iteration, and then all of a sudden it was like, who in the hell just smeared my dick in the dirt, guys? So that's just the play. I mean, it's the play style, how do I like it? I think it's fun, but I think the balancing's not there yet. It's playing very, very niche. I mean, absolutely niche. Smoothing out the damage I can see where they're going with it. I can really see where they're going with it, and how fun this thing can actually end up being. And it'll definitely be a good utility, but the balance has got to be there. And currently, it's not. The 5-mans are killing. From what I understand, they still don't have the scaling issue, right? Because you can't scale the artifact power up with you right now either. So you're looking at that problem also, to where you can't get into it. It's really hard to tell exactly where it's at, guys, because of the way that it's playing. But the good part about it is, once they get it to a good point and they get this swapped over into beta and they get more people testing on it, they'll start seeing a bit more of exactly how they feel. Now, let's get into some of the cooldowns. I believe I mentioned Rapture already. You do have Barrier. The other two that I'm using that are smaller cooldowns are actually damaging cooldown. One of them is a dot that you end up putting out, and with this thing you end up putting it out, and then you'll cast Penance. It's on the number 2 button, I believe. And when you cast Penance, it'll actually spread to another target. So this kind of helps. It acts almost like you're throwing a rejuve out on the tank, as long as they've got Atonement. It's kind of a cool little process. And then you can keep spreading it by hitting Penance and keeping it up and get it on multiple targets. And it's just a lot of incoming healing on them. It's cool, guys. The other one that I ended up speccing into was Schism. And it does a huge amount of damage, but it also ends up increasing the damage you do by either 10 or 20% for like 10 or 20 seconds. Again, I keep getting these things crossed, but it helps out a lot for a little bit of a burst deal. And then you've got your artifact. Basically, up to 5 people that are atoned, this thing's going to do X amount of damage and will multiply up to 5 people that are atoned. And when it's put up there, it'll end up just popping everyone back up who are atoned, guys. So basically it'll do, I think it's like at level 100 it's like 19,000 damage. Well, it'll do almost 100,000 damage whenever there's 5 people that are atoned. and it does a huge, basically all that damage is transferred through atonement. I think it's like 40% is what my mastery was at. So 40% of that damage will end up transferring it over, and yeah, that's the way it's just playing, guys. The artifact weapon helps out a lot, but again, I think it's broke because, well, I'd use it and it would look like nothing even happened. Nothing at all. So I don't know if they're splitting the damage also for everyone or what's going on, but the way that thing was playing beforehand, you'd hit it, it'd do the huge damage, and you could basically top everyone back up. So it was almost like doing a large AoE. Holy Radiance has done a huge change also, guys. Basically, it heals the target that you've got and then 2 other people around them for a very small amount of damage. Or, yeah, very small amount of healing, sorry. But it applies Atonement to all 3. So if you're looking at getting your Atonement out there and Atonement out there fast, you can use Holy Word Radiance, and this is going to work really nice for spreading your Atonement, but at a very high cost. Not like you're really worried about mana too much anyways, guys. All your spells are dirt-ass cheap at level 100 or at level 110. So just, again, something to end up thinking about. But we're going to end up ending this thing, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. It was a fun experience for me to get to test this again. Yeah, okay, well, after a couple aspirin, it was a fun experience because the first couple dungeons, it was like, what the hell did they do to this thing? They've changed it so much, and then they go and change that damage that they want you to rely on, and it was just absolutely painful. So guys, I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you did, go ahead and throw it a like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.